we're jumping right in without the music, Mr. Ed's voice, and all of that because I messed up on setting up the show. We actually already did the show. How far are we into it? 7 minutes into it? We already did a 7-minute show, and you missed it. And it was on the topic of, what was the topic? Of the show we already did.
Life expectancy.
Welcome to a special
now we've got
encore
to recreate
performance.
The funniest show we've ever done.
It was I was crying. I had to change my pants. I was laughing so hard.
Is that why you ran out?
That's why I ran out twice.
That's why you ran out.
It wasn't because I messed up on setting up the show. So we're going to get your comments and questions, which I'm going to set up right now for that. And it takes a little bit of
We appreciate those.
time to set up for the comments. So I'm going to do it right here so you can have live comments.
So anyways,
as we talk about what are we talking about?
life expectancy. So let's talk about that.
Did you say life or live? Because they were expecting us to be live.
Live expectancy. That's what you guys wanted, but we're going to talking about life expectancy.
See, it shows us right there.
Yeah. We're now working. So,
but is that?
Thank you for showing up. Yeah, that's what's going on.
That's happening right now.
You guys can give us a thumbs up.
Look, I can read the captions. It takes a little bit. Time going to do it right here, so you can live comments. Yeah. Oh, that's what I just said. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Here. I'll switch it to you.
Anyway, so
I'm not here.
About a week ago, I was perusing my inbox. We're getting these emails all the time, and all sorts of studies, stuff coming in, give us relevant, well, most of it's relevant information to be a doctor. But one of the things that came into my inbox was this article that the American life expectancy has been decreasing, like actually going down significantly to a point. Yeah. It's a bummer for those who are older. How much time do I have? Than me. So I found it interesting, and I just wanted to figure it'd be a pretty cool thing not cool, but an interesting thing to talk about as far as why in the world is the life expectancy, specifically in America? That's the thing.
How much time do I have?
Well, I know your habits, so.
Oh my goodness, we have comments.
As we drink our Dutch brothers. How much time do you have? Well, so let's talk a little bit about that. So maybe we should start out with some graphs. I think you put together some things that may help us.
I did. And we actually do have
this.
comments from people who are such dedicated fans. They're actually there with us this week. Oh, I'm so sorry. Lindsay and Angela Higginbotham, and oh my goodness. Okay, so and Angela Higginbotham saying, okay. So, and they're actually talking about the very subject. They're coming up with their ideas of an explanation. So we're going to show you.
Yeah. Thanks for
Kimberly's actually suggestion.
Some of those,
to an answer
and
here.
we'll probably get into that. But there's
we'll show the slide that you were talking about before.
First, let's look at that slide.
So it's actually 2 slides put into one because they're really wide, and I thought never mind. So the top one is showing life expectancy in the United States versus other developed countries. The other developed countries are that lighter blue line above on that top graph. And the United States is the lower line. And what we're really paying attention to is how it goes down at the end, but also that it's a lower line than other countries.
Just in general, yeah.
So that elbow or knee in the graph happens right at 2019 because it's showing where expectancy was during that year, and then the next year is 2020, and the year after that is 2021. So it goes down for 2 years following 2019.
Yeah.
2020, we do know, as Kimberly was saying, that was the year that COVID hit.
Yeah, when over 1 million people die.
So we're going to look now at the United States compared to specific other developed countries, not only mortality, but also how much we spend on healthcare.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, mortality compared to
what's that
prices.
going on there? We spend more on healthcare, but yet
we don't get a lot of bang for that buck.
I feel like we're getting ripped off. It's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. It's all the doctor's fault, right?
Well, I was just
What are
thinking,
we doing? What do we need to do differently?
How much do you make? That,
As a primary care doctor.
Well, yeah. How much of that number is primary care?
Well, we've talked to some of our specialist
5%.
friends, and we know
5%. Primary care is 5% of healthcare dollars.
Yeah.
And
when we're talking about longevity, life expectancy, we talk a lot about
Well, you
like
talk a lot.
screening tests. I do talk a lot. No, I don't. We talk about screening tests that would pick up and find things that would limit life, right?
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
where is that done? Primary care.
Yeah, it's
That's
us.
us.
We're the ones
That's our job to pick up on
keeping the
those
costs
things.
down.
Keeping those costs down, but trying to pick up on those things. So,
We found out who's spending the money, though.
yeah. Unfortunately, we've had some conversations where we talk to specialists and they say, "Oh yeah, we prescribe this drug."
It's treatment
and
that
it's-
costs $100,000,
Yeah, I was like, wow.
and the insurance pays for it.
Yeah.
Man,
Anyways,
do you know how many mammograms you could have gotten for that?
or even like healthcare campaigns where you could get people in to get
their
You
screenings?
could drive them to get to get their mammograms.
You could do mammograms in people's houses for them.
Oh, my
Make it that
goodness,
convenient.
yeah.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I stretch it some.
Getting a little
You
overboard
could
there.
make a mobile mammogram. To the comments.
So, anyways, COVID. Yeah, that decline occurs in COVID, but there are probably other things to
That's Kimberly who thought it was COVID.
that are contributing to that as well, and one of those would be the opioid crisis. Those numbers have jumped in recent years,
Like the fentanyl song sings about.
like the fentanyl song sings about. Yeah, those are up. I think about 30% is some of the statistics. 30% year over year over the past few years. So that's significant.
But there's two things going on. There's the decreased longevity, and I don't know if that's making a significant hit on that. And then there's also the difference between the United States and other countries
right.
that spend less money. Developed
Why
countries.
are we
Why?
having such a big disparity?
We had a conversation earlier where I threw out this concept of two bell curves. Okay, maybe not two, but possibly instead of a single bell curve for the whole. I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of statistical stuff here. Maybe not everybody has the background for this. Typically, when you look at something in a population that you're measuring, life expectancy or whatever, and you graph it, you've got this bell-shaped curve where kind of somewhere toward the middle, there's a peak, and most people are right around that, and then fewer people are way above and way below. So it looks like a bell-shaped curve when you graph it out, and you've got the outliers way out at the ends. So for like life expectancy, it'd be people with really short lives and really long lives at the other end. Mm-hmm. Life expectancy, funny thing, within the first year, there's a peak. Mm-hmm. And then way at the end, it starts to get stretched out. And so it's not a bell-shaped curve. So this life expectancy thing, you might be surprised that infant mortality is part of the reason, not so much adults dying. But I don't know if there's been a change in that lately. I do know that infant mortality is not as good in the United States as it should be compared to other developed countries.
Yes. Yeah, that's...
It's like not even in the top 10.
Yeah, I know.
Infant mortality.
It is one of those things that
Why?
is, scratch your head.
And there's a lot of things go into that. There's availability of the healthcare, and then there's
Access.
using what's available. There's two, like you talked about the campaigns.
Yeah.
You can have the clinics out there, but if the people aren't going to them, they're not helping.
Right.
So there's two sides to that.
And a lot of things go into that. Where you live, your socioeconomic status, what kind of insurance you have and what they will cover, where they'll let you get your health care, how good those healthcare systems are that you're allowed to go to. Lots of things go into it.
So if a country has prenatal and delivery and infant care for everyone, because it's a socialist system, typically they're going to have lower. Well, we know statistically they do
Better outcomes.
Their lines look better as far as is dependent on the infant mortality side of things.
Right.
Yeah. Like these Northern European.
And I would
socialist
imagine
countries.
that maps out too throughout life. If you have, say, a Canadian system where you have a healthcare system that's going to
Was
catch
Canada.
everyone and not just those that can afford it, then, that's going to change that number. And if you have that, you can put your dollars to work where you want them to. You can direct that a little more precisely.
So the countries beating the United States in longevity are Germany, United Kingdom, Austria, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Australia, Sweden, Japan. So it's exactly what we were talking about. A lot of those are the countries that have some kind of nationalized health service or have
which is interesting.
single payer or something like
Right.
that, where everybody's covered to a certain minimum.
So that would,
Yeah.
access is one of those. And then, you're able to, with that, direct your dollars more towards preventive care and essentially, make better calls for where to use those healthcare dollars.
So it's spending on things that are actually somewhat simple,
Sure.
not real sexy, not super expensive,
Yep.
not this dramatic reversing stage 4 lung cancer in somebody, and within a
give them
few
2
weeks
more
seeing the
years.
tumor shrink down. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of real
Right.
flashy, exciting intervention. It's more like
Going to your primary care doctor, discussing diet and exercise,
getting
getting your screening
getting
tests
screened,
done,
checking.
making sure you're getting the labs done to get your cholesterol, your diabetes
I was thinking more on the
checked.
infant mortality side. It's
On that side,
tests for the mother
Yep.
to be,
and making sure they're getting into those prenatal visits.
But the
to
whole range.
Catch things early, making
Yeah.
sure they have all of that. So, it is a lot to have to do with access. And actually, we have another, I think you have another slide in there,
I
which
do.
is
I
kind
was
of
just wanting to
revealing as well, talking about some of those things we just talked about.
I was first wanting to check to see if there were any comments we wanted
Plenty.
to put up. Yeah. So, and Kimberly Finch is talking about
The opioid crisis,
question on the
it's
opioid crisis
it's
there.
a real
and then,
thing for sure that is taking lives.
And then Angela's asking a question: do doctors ever look at how many people from their practice die each year? Not that it would be affected by the doctor, but geographic location. Indirectly, actually, yes, because we have within our IPA and within our ACO, both we're having those kind of stats looked at, and so it's not us as an individual office; it's us as a part of.
Right.
Depending on which group, it could be hundreds or thousands of offices that are working together, and they do break it down a little
and you
bit.
would need to spread that out over more, because that's just, if you have, say a geriatrics office versus a family practice office versus pediatrics office, you're going to have much different numbers throughout those for each, who is dying. So.
Yeah. So you wanted to show the other slide.
Yeah, because I found this one quite
Let's
revealing.
see here.
So this is a map of the United States, and the colors depict average life expectancy by state, which is interesting. So the darker the color, the longer the life.
So unlike all the disease maps, this one you want to be in the red.
You want to be the darker.
And isn't that kind of funny?
Funny's not the right word. It's sad, but it's interesting.
The blue states are the red ones.
I like how you whisper that just loud enough right in front of the mic.
What? Okay. So if a governor,
if you were to take that map,
if a governor of a certain state,
well, here's what I was going to say. If you were to take that map
just take a look.
and then overlay that map with obesity rates,
Oh, there's a match there.
there's a match.
There's a match there.
So it is definitely something to do with that, and obesity makes you at higher risk for heart disease,
Yeah.
for diabetes, for high cholesterol, all those things that unfortunately lead to premature death.
Huh. What stuff? Interesting. Those slides, they just kind of make you scratch your head a little bit there.
Yeah.
What's going behind that? And there could be so much more discussion on this because it's just a single measure. Like I said before, there's something different going on at the infant mortality side of it. There's something different going on at the older age. Another point is your life expectancy gets longer as you age. For example, if a 30-year-old has a certain life expectancy, and then when they're 50, they made it to 50. They didn't die before that. And so they're going to die later than 50. And so it skews what their expectancy is. It's obviously older than 50. And this goes on until when most people, their expectancy is, what was the number if we look at the actual slide? So we're talking life expectancies now anywhere from roughly 72 to 78, we'll say.
That's significant.
So if you're 85, your life expectancy is longer than any of those because you already made it to 85. And so that's an interesting feature of life expectancy and how it changes over time.
Still averages out to where?
Averages only apply to groups of people, but not to individuals.
Yep.
So you got to be careful with that, especially with a lot of what we do in medicine, where we take something that's studied on a group, and then we say, you're an individual, so now we recommend
it based on that knowledge of the. So what you really want to know and why you tuned into this program is, what can I do to make sure that I beat those odds? That's really why you're here, right? How do I make sure my life expectancy is better? That's probably the biggest thing. So the big thing is,
are we telling them to move to Northern Europe?
Move to California or New York? No. Or actually outside of the country,
Sweden
would be the way to go on.
Wait, let's see let's actually look at which countries look good. No, not that one.
Or try to exemplify what they do there in your own life.
Switzerland.
That's where we all should all be moving. Switzerland.
Switzerland's the place.
Yeah, I would imagine that.
And your money's already there, right? Oh,
yeah.
I wasn't supposed to say that.
That overseas bank. Not that you,
Thank you, Lindsay Antoine.
It all goes straight to that.
Goes to that Swiss bank account.
Wait, didn't one of the Swiss banks just get bailed out over the weekend?
Credit Suisse?
Yeah. Yeah. There's all my money. Oh, well. Anyway, how can you do better? It's a lot of those things we talk about. Make sure you're seeing your primary care doctor, eating healthy, maintaining a good weight, exercising, getting all those screening tests done, the recommended ones.
And not counting on these super miracle treatments that cost ridiculous amounts of money to be the thing to take care of you when you could be doing what he says.
Yeah. That's how you can help yourself as a person tuning in. The other thing is legislative action is really the only way we're going to make big changes for all of the United States.
As a whole. Group.
To change that average.
Are we
to
talking
try to match
about
others
that here?
Not necessarily. I'm just saying that's.
I don't know if you want me to pull another video in the future and send me a text message saying, please make that video private.
No.
Which one was it?
Yeah.
You have to go through all the old videos and figure it out.
Can't go figure it out. Yeah.
Which one's missing?
No, but all I'm saying is I don't think it's anything that we're going to be able to do to make a big change. I will do my best for my patients and put them at the forefront of this by preaching all the things that I normally do.
Yeah.
But truly, we need better access. We need better health care plans. There you go.
Greetings to Jeanette from Ireland.
Hey, how's Ireland?
My cousin was in Ireland last week.
Life expectancy in Ireland? I bet it's really good.
I don't think it was on the list.
Oh.
And I don't know why.
Alcohol. No, just kidding. I have no idea. We know about the Irish.
Are we allowed to say that since we're Irish? Or have
we got some
a component? How much? About as much as you can measure of anything.
Jeanette will let us know.
As she unsubscribes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time that you spent with us,
offend
Jeanette.
Everybody who watches our show. Who else can we offend while we're at it?
If it was any
all
other
Americans, apparently, who were telling you're going to die before
any other
countries.
Well, most other industrialized nations spending the same amount on health. And that's the other thing. They're spending less on healthcare. And
that's kind of the kick in the gut there.
Yeah, it really is. Let's see if it even shows. Does it show on that slide? The amount? Like dollars? Oh, no, that was male versus female. I'm sorry. I didn't get the one that showed how much more money was. There was another slide that I didn't get that showed that. And
aware of those statistics.
It was. There are countries with better life expectancy that spend about half as much per person on healthcare. That's how different it was. It was that dramatic.
Yeah, it's significant.
So when it comes time to have healthcare policy debates, there actually is something to talk about there. So and of course, as it comes, with the next presidential election, probably we'll be having more information on those kinds of topics.
If that continues to go down at that.
That wasn't cool.
Dramatic rate there.
Hopefully that was just like a little. I'm going to say COVID. Hopefully it was just a little.
Right, which COVID is now mostly resolved. So
just
to see some of those numbers, but it was during its heyday. Boy, that sounds horrible. During its worst times, it was the third leading cause of death in 2020.
Yeah,
it was up there.
It made a huge impact. So anything else you wanted to either say hi to or?
No. I think that's about it. But thanks for joining us.
Thank you. As always, we thank Lindsay and Twine. Thank you. And everybody else who goes to contribute to the delinquency of in fact, you can read what I'm going to put it in front of your face.
Quarter.
What's
extra?
I got to get about where your face is for it to be in focus. You can see it kind of says quarter, 1/4 XS.
Mine says
something's in excess.
I thought we
were talking about teaching healthy habits, and they see 1/4 excess.
Yeah,
and it is an excess. That 1/4. It's just 1/4 though. It's not
an excess.
It's not complete excess. It's just a quarter excess. I make my excuses to a camera sitting on a tripod. Anyway, thank you. Until next time, Dr. Wayne Vaughn, Dr. Mark Vaughn, telling all of you to stay in good health. Thank you.
Doctors, thank you for another informative session. Auburn Medical Group is located in Auburn, California, USA. Thank you for participating. Please tell a friend and join us again next week.